Yo, Kaspa people, what's good? So now I'm going to make a real nice video for you guys to explain what's up with all this volatility and craziness of the markets. So we take a look at Kaspa, and I have a great chart here for you and some really cool analytics. Now, first, before I go into anything, I want to just say rest in peace to the people out there that are suffering from war, injustice at the hands of corrupt leadership looking for more money and more profit. So rest in peace to all those that are currently in the war with Iran and Israel and, Palestine and Gaza and all that, okay? The crash that recently happened was largely caused by that. Now we've seen an incredible bounce on Monday. Kaspa was the largest gainer for the day in the top 50 cryptos. So that's incredible. Response to the war as well was with surging oil prices. So oil surged, gold also surged. Now crypto bounced back, and it's very, very interesting. You see also with the dollar not doing so hot, still not doing so hot. In all honesty, it's actually doing terribly, absolutely terribly. Now, the dollar would be a place and a chance to actually recover in response to a wartime period. Like, for example, people buying bonds and investing in the dollar, but no, it's actually contrary. There's just not much trust in the dollar anymore, just like these other traditional finance banks and all that with different currencies as well. The dollar, Chinese currency, and these different global currencies, they're not doing so hot. They're in the gold standard, okay? We're looking for hard money. Gold, hard money. So you take a look at everything with respect to gold. You think the stock market is at a peak? Yeah, well, it is, but this is in terms of dollars. Take a look at in terms of gold. Now, it is retesting a floor. This really puts things into another perspective. Let's look at Bitcoin with respect to gold. Here we are with some thick lines, making it clear for you where we're headed. Okay, so I've been, having this chart here. This is the upward channel. Now there's a lot of growth for Bitcoin with respect to gold. We are not at an all-time high. We're actually at a very low value in this channel. Yes, there's some room to fall down a little bit. However, we're at a low, a very much of a low. There's a much greater room for growth for crypto, for Bitcoin, especially for Kaspa. Don't get me started. So this is the macro moving averages, deep moving averages. We're talking about 50-day moving average, 100-day moving average, 150-day moving averages. They are all converging in very interesting ways. This red line represents the 150-day moving average. Now this green line as well represents a 100-day moving average. So they're at a crossroads right now. And these other lines here, they represent 50-day, 75-day, 60-day moving averages. Very interesting point that we are consolidating downward. Yes, we are in a downtrend, but there's heavy support taking it upward. This upward support at a certain point is going to break out, like something like this. It's going to break out. It's already flatlined. Like we're already past the bottom. This was the bottom and we're flatlined. Now it's moving upward. So as we're moving upward, there's going to be a point where it's going to see explosive growth. When is that going to happen? Well, we're going to have to see. But I think we're in this consolidation period. We may continue to consolidate. Bitcoin may have room to go down to, let's say, 95,000. Very reasonable place to retest. Again, it's macro moving uptrend. It's macro moving average. Again, just like it retested down here, retested down here. These retests are all extremely healthy, but once it retests, it's blast off. And we're now retesting that all-time high period, but it's not even all-time high. We're looking at Bitcoin here in terms of dollars. The dollar itself is crashing. It's losing its value. So look at Bitcoin in terms of gold, and we are not even we're not at all-time high. We're back in what is this? 2024, like we're near at this peak back here. Back in 2021, we're at the similar range from 4 years ago at this peak back here. So there's still so much room to go. We take a look back at Kaspa. And this is also really interesting. Take a look at Kaspa with respect to gold. Let's get it. So again, extremely undervalued. Now this creating a floor on the monthly time frame. Take a look at its MACD. It's basically showing that the sell pressure of the short-term sell pressure is reducing with respect to the longer-term sell pressure. The greater downtrend is turning into a little bit of a reversal, a bottoming formation. This is good to see. It's going to take still some months to actually, fully bottom out, at least with respect with the cast gold chart. we'll see how it ends up, but it's very good to see it, start creating a floor down at this level. Very healthy. I love moving averages because it's just the average. The price follows a trend. This trend represents the average price of something, the average move, the momentum, the movement of a asset. It all follows this trend, and this is a moving average trend. Just like there's the power law trend. So this is another trend, and it's something that different assets, they follow very keenly to. They find explosive growth, they come back down to these averages. So here we are at a point where green and yellow lines, they represent more of a shorter term trend, the more recent trend, the more recent average, while the red line here represents a more macro average. This is just a 20-week moving average, the red line. Then the green and the yellow represent more of a 10 to 15-week moving average. Now you see again, the converging upward is very healthy to see. However, the red line represents that we still are in a macro downtrend. This red line is going to need to flatten out at a period of time. When it starts flattening out, that's going to represent the bottom really starting to form. And that's going to be able to create, when all these different averages start pointing upward, it means the trend is pointing upward. It means the average price is looking up. So right now we're still in a bit of a highly volatile state. Now, what does these green columns represent? These green lines here. Now this is a 150-week moving average. This is basically the price of Kaspa since inception, following this type of trend. Look at this. It's such a slow and steady trend. If you literally invested back down in here and you skipped out on all this hype and craziness, you would still be buying. You could still buy at this exact price right now, and you could have skipped everything and still have this average. That's where we are right now. So that's why everything below this 150-week moving average is dirt cheap. It's an incredible discount. That's why I love these prices below this moving average line right here. I love it. I absolutely love it, and so should you. And I do not think, personally, I do not think it is wise to expect the crash to continue below here, even though trends indicate that it very much could continue the crash. For example, there's lots of support down here, 5.2 cents, 5.5 cents, huge support levels. Great buying opportunity as well if it comes down to it. Is it going to come down to it? It's hard to say. Okay, it's hard to say. Is Bitcoin going to come down to 9.95K? Again, hard to say, because we're at a point where if you look at just charts alone with crypto with respect to the dollar, you could see that these trends indicate that there is room to fall. But once you get rid of the dollar and you start looking at gold, look at crypto with respect to gold, and then you understand that, wait a second, we are at a bottom. This is the bottom. Okay, there's much less room to fall for crypto with respect to gold. Gold is just soaring high because of this uncertainty with the global economics, because of the failing, these debt markets that are just completely unsustainable. They're about to just blow up, and people are looking for a safe haven. That's hard money. You have to look at everything with respect to gold. Look at the stock market with respect to gold. Like, it's fine. It's doing fine. Retesting this low level right here. And a lot of people, you don't see this. When you look at this S&P 500, the price, it's never priced in terms of gold. It's priced in terms of dollars, and that's the problem. Like, because you could see it even just seeing the price of, say, for example, eggs, or the price of, say, for example, bread. It's not good just keeping it in terms of dollars, because it's not hard money. Like, the value of that bread, it didn't change. It's bread. It's like bread is bread. But it's the underlying currency that changed. So when you have these different assets on a currency that is changing its own value, like in a bad way, the dollar is losing value, then you're not going to have a better, more accurate picture of the underlying asset. That's why you, again, look at things that are hard money, really actual hard money, and that's where you get to see the true value of something, for example, with Kaspa. So we saw this explosive growth to this 8.3 cent range. That 8.3 cent range, Kaspa is still technically in a downtrend, as I showed. So here we go. at 9.2 cents, basically saw this type of resistance level. And again, at 8.3 cents, the resistance level kept Kaspa down. Is this something bad? No. Again, we see this down, this average is going down pretty hard, and we're seeing a little bit of a slight flattening happen. It's too early to tell, but if the price does continue to go upward and start to create a little bit of a breakout from here, that'd be wonderful to see. But again, this type of volatility is just normal, and anything could really happen at this level in terms of short-term price action. So again, look at Ethereum, for example. Yes, there is support here. Macro moving average is moving up, but again, there is room to fall back down somewhere around here, then again explode. I do believe this was the bottom, and take a look at Bitcoin as well. So I mean, it had quite a pump and dump a little bit, and look at this. It caught support down here. So this moving average is starting to flatten out. That's on the 2 hour. Okay, let's zoom out a little bit. Check on the daily, and again, this moving average, it has support, but look at it. There's some moving averages that are pointing downward. So is it going to drop down to 9.5K? Is it going to drop down lower? Again, it's very hard to tell, especially with the global economy, the global economics, the macroeconomics. The dollar is falling, the dollar's failing. There's a lot of, people are storming to hard money, real money. Okay, that's why the stock market is at an all-time high, because not just because the dollar's failing, but because the global M2 there's so much liquidity out there. Let's take a look. So here's Bitcoin in the global M2 10-week lead. Okay, something very reasonable that Bitcoin's been following it very accurately. I mean, to an extent, like you see down here, it didn't follow too much, but again, it depends on the delay that you see it at. So here we go. Could Bitcoin continue the rise? Yeah, it absolutely could. And it did have a fall down from here, so it's a bit delayed. We'll have to see how it works out. But the general trend, as the money supply moves upward, it just gives more liquidity to the markets. Take a look at this now. FRED, an acronym for the Federal Reserve Economic Data. Money keeps going up. The global M2 just keeps going up. This is all this money. I mean, take a look. There's that billions and billions just increasing the M2 supply. Now this is the measured back in April. So we're gonna get that new data reference in June 24. So it would be very interesting to see what that looks like, and it's gonna just keep going upward. So we're gonna also have an FOMC meeting later today. Now a lot of investors they think that nothing much is going to change with the interest rates, and we'll see. It just doesn't really matter even. I think just long term, everyone knows it's just inevitable where the dollar is headed, and the Feds are going to be ended up forced to print money. They're going to be forced to buy back their bonds. There's no people that are out there. There's no governments out there or countries that want to buy such large amounts of U.S. bonds. What's that going to lead to? It's going to lead to the U.S. government forced to buy it. What are they going to buy it with? With money that they print, with dollars that they print. And it's just going to push the problem further out in the future. But in reality, it's just devaluing the dollar, its current value today. So it creates a problem today, and it makes it an even larger problem for tomorrow. What does that do? It just puts more emphasis on the fact that crypto is the solution for the global debt crisis that we've seen time and time again. So something to keep in mind with past wars with the U.S. Look at all the wars across history that the stock market's been trading. The wars don't they cause immediate panic, a sell-off event of 10 to 20% for the S&P 500, something like that, and boom, it can get recovered in a matter of 5 trading days, in a matter of a week. Now we've already seen that. It's almost been a week, and not really. It's been a few days since the attack has happened. Israel attacking Iran, and Iran, counterattacking, and we're going to see now again. Israel's going to absolutely destroy Iran, in my opinion, and it's very unfortunate that that's going to happen. And basically, everyone's playing the cards of the corrupt leaders of the world, just wanting to press their red shiny button, their nuke button, to obliterate their opponent and take their oil and take their land. make more money, make more power. And it's just unbelievable that that's the world we live in and we have these people in power. It's unbelievable. But that's the effect on the market is actually much smaller than you may think. So there's this huge rebound that's going to happen. And I think that rebound already happened. And we saw it just on Monday. I mean, that crazy explosive growth. I mean, for Kaspa to go from 7.2 cents to 8.3 cents, I mean, something like that, 7.3 to 8.3, in just so quickly is crazy. Okay. That type of movement is basically like a rebound. And now we're not even back down to the lows. We're kind of like chilling a little higher, and that's good to see. I mean, same deal with Bitcoin. You see this the sell off and then the gradual buying back, and now we're higher. So the war didn't really have much of an effect. And why would it not have much of an effect? Because the war simply it's a reiteration of the current global economy that we live in. There's there's just losing trust in the current traditional finance, and people are flocking to safe havens. What's a safe haven? Gold, Bitcoin. And yeah, oil was surging because there's Iran has such a large oil presence. They dominate portion of that market. So oil prices are expected to increase because there's less supply out there and more demand. But people need hard money. People need security, safety with their finances, and with the global debt markets increasing, and with the financial problems that are going to be created from this war is going to increase as well. What's going to be the long-term winner? Well, crypto. What's going to be the loser? Well, traditional finance, fiat currencies, the dollar, Chinese yuan, even like the ruble, these Russian, currencies. It's doing so bad. Everything is doing really bad. Okay, people want an escape, and crypto is that escape. Escape. Let's take a look at the 3-month chart on Kaspa, and dang man, you look at this type of thing, and if you're selling your bag here again, it's like, are you doing the right thing? Are you just playing into the FOMO fear, the fear of missing out on the drop to try to buy in lower? But in reality, it's not very smart to expect a continuation of this drop. Yeah, the thing is though, you have to keep in mind the buyers and the sellers, the supply and demand that's out there. Take a look. The Kaspa is almost 92% mined. Now, remember my just videos from probably like a month ago is like 90% mined. Now it's almost 92% mined. So there's a lot of Kaspa mining rewards that are out there. The current miners are profitable. Yeah, the old miners are not profitable. But even like the what is it? The KS5 Pro or KS7 Pro. I forget which one it's called. But it was a miner from a year ago, okay, and it's still profitable with 21 terahash. Yes, profitable to around like 50 cents a day. If you have free electricity, then there you go, free money. Now the new miner is bringing in like $8 a day. So this is a lot of profitability. And this is something you have to keep in mind. This money is for retail, okay? Imagine how much money and how many miners the actual ASIC manufacturers have. Imagine how much Kaspa supply they are mining and have mined. Imagine how much Kaspa they currently own that they're trying to sell. That's something that's just you have to keep in mind that not many people in the community really have that in their head, that these ASIC manufacturers, Ice River, Bitmain, I mean, these are huge companies that have so much money, so many miners, so many that they are selling older versions. That's how they do it. They have their newest, latest version that they are currently mining, and then their older versions they're done with. All right, let's sell them, and they sell them to distributors or to retail, and it's a money it's like infinite money supply for them. But in order to do that, people need to be buying their Kaspa as well, the Kaspa that they mine. So that's a lot of sell pressure right there. It's going to keep decreasing as the mining rewards reduce. After the next reduction after 18 days. This reduction is constantly going down. But we need new people buying. Okay, so here are all these sellers, and where are the buyers? There was recently a massive buy for like 23 million Kaspa. This was like about 2 or 3 days ago, buying that dip heavy. Wallet number 2 also, always accumulating. You see wallet number 3 as well. Look at this. Oh wait, that's Uphold. Wallet number 27, you see this one pop up every now and then, buying heavy loads of Kaspa. So these are honestly, in my opinion, probably exchanges. Wallet number 2 has to be Binance. Look, it's almost 3% of the total supply, wallet number 2, which is actually insane. Take a look at these KRC20 tokens as well. Zeal had a massive run. What do I think about it? Well, I mean, it's what, 78%? I mean, 100% pre-minted, 78% in this wallet that's going to be giving out rewards over a prolonged period of time, over years. But these are staking rewards, farming rewards, all of that. Once a token, and then the team has a wallet, or there's a team wallet. Even the Nacho creators have their own wallets. Like, there's so much pre-allocated tokens that are going to get unlocked once the token actually launches on the layer 2. So until then, there's just not much sell pressure there because there's not much available supply to even sell. The people that got in early have most likely flipped their bag and all that. Now look at this explosive growth. So like, who was left there to sell? There's not much money there to sell. There's not much percent supply. The people that still hold, that's great, but I don't think that's going to very much be, I don't think it's going to last very long. I think it peaked around like 45 million market cap, but it's incredible. I mean, this is great for the entire ecosystem. It brings a lot more attention on the ecosystem. You see people from the Kaspa community engaging with Zeal token more than the meme coins. I mean, there's some people, some people prefer, I guess, the utility rather than the meme, and that's fine. Again, the meme coins still perform better long term, and they become the largest assets, while something like the DEX isn't nearly as big, but it's still, they all perform really well. And if anything, Zeal is a testament to how well Egra token, the Egra Labs network token, could perform, because that's going to be a layer 2 token. It's not going to be, a DEX that could be across different layer 2s. Egra Labs, it's its own token, it's its own layer 2. But think of Egra Labs like other layer 2s out there for Ethereum, but that actually become the best version of a layer 2, a based ZK rollup. So Casplex will not have their own token, and I really commend them for that, because you really don't need your own token, in my opinion. But Eager Labs, they're going to have their own token, and they're going to use it to their own advantage. They're going to build their DAO around that. Maybe they're going to incentivize nodes with some of their token. I don't know. They're also most likely going to have team allocation of like a pre-allocated supply for their team using this token. And it seems like they want to use their DAO to decide on how much of that supply gets pre-allocated to the team, the Eager Labs team. We'll see how that works out. It'll be very interesting to see. But this is really a testament that people like value, and okay, the memes had their run. So now it's going to be, to see how Zeal does. And we'll see how Eager Labs token does in Q4 2025, end of the year 2025. That's going to be very interesting. So again, the layer 2 token will not perform as well as the top meme coins of the blockchain. We look at that across Ethereum as well, and you see what are the largest assets. It's the meme coins, but still great opportunity for investors and people within Kaspa, especially those that just don't like meme coins. They don't like the vibe. They would go to Eager Labs. They would go to Zeal, and they could bring a lot more liquidity, and it could also draw a lot more attention to the Kaspa ecosystem, and just bring in lot more liquidity. Rather than people advertising Turbo and advertising other junk like Cubic and all that. We'll be having a lot more money in Kaspa. Take a look at this. Bitcoin has the same level of adoption as the internet in 1999. Now, we've seen this chart come time and time again. If you haven't seen it, well, it's out there. Again, we see this. Basically, yeah. But the problem is Bitcoin won't be able to adopt all these users. Kaspa is the solution. Can upscale to billion of users. Kaspa will finish the job. Facts. Tech is stuck in the same year as well. Ooh, that's a burn. That's a good burn. And this is actually really cool. Vietnam passes laws to recognize, again, more and more countries are accepting and promoting crypto. Bullish. Hans Moog, absolute legend of Kaspa. He's talking about this whole proof of useful work. Okay, there's this paper released, and Jonathan was like congratulating the authors of this paper for their work. Very interesting, extremely interesting. How is this interesting, and what does this mean? Okay, so Jonathan is awesome because he's not just like Kaspa maxi. He's a technological innovation maxi. He will make sure that he's bringing out the best of innovation, the vanguard of technology, of crypto technology. He's literally that, the vanguard. So when he sees something that's also like at the forefront, he congratulates it, and he's going to, just like Hans Moog is saying here, find a way that it can complement Kaspa. Yeah, they're two different technologies, but if this one is actually becomes a new form of superior proof of work, then we should consider the possibility to integrate it into our own tech. That's what I love Kaspa about, because we're not afraid of competitors. We're not afraid of other technologies. If something's better than Kaspa, or if people could do Kaspa better than we can, or than the developers can, then please feel free. We're just trying here to make the best crypto possible, and nothing could possibly be Kaspa. Now, if something can make proof of work useful while continuing to maintain the high security level of proof of work, even though it's giving more purpose to the proof of work by making the mining, making the mining more useful, like solving AI, matrix multiplication in the field of machine learning, basically making the mining useful for AI computations. Now, again, this is something that Cubic has been saying that they do, and they absolutely don't do it. They are honestly pretty much a joke. But here we are with proof of work. If this is bullish for proof of work. This is bullish for all proof of work chains, because this is just going to be able to boost the whole ecosystem, boost the whole crypto sphere, just like Kaspa can really take crypto to the next level. This type of development can also take Kaspa forward. Here we go with Cubic. Cubic's been saying that they do this useful proof of work. In all honesty, they don't. They really don't. I mean, there's so many problems with the Cubic network and how it operates in such a centralized way. And even here, the Cubic founder says 70% of the expanded energy is overhead, making it a multiplicative overhead a bit larger than 3. And here we go with all this technical, bit of technical jargon. Slaying the FUD, slaying the wannabe. So this 1 plus 0 or 01, I don't even know. I guess it means it suggests the quality of the AI system approaching 1, meaning near optimal or highly reliable performance. Shai is basically saying that Cubic, they have such unreliable parameters, and it's very centralized in how they define their parameters and how they say and prove that their work is useful, and how they define that, how they define useful work, all these different questions and problems that Cubic just does, that they claim that they solve and they don't. But anyways, that's a topic for another time, and something that Shai can do a much better job of explaining. I did a whole video on Cubic explaining other problems with the whole network, but it's very much a red flag. This poor lad. I honestly feel bad for him. Let's go on to the next bookmark. Here we are with mixers. Okay, Cat's mixer. This is really interesting, and may want to save this and keep it for later, perhaps. But it's pretty interesting. Okay, enhanced privacy. You already know the feds aren't going to be liking this. So your cash is mixed with other user funds in a pool, making it impossible to trace the source. So, I mean, is it perfect way of privacy? I mean, is it perfect privacy? No, because they would be able to trace it to one of the, I mean, they'll see the user's funds. So how many users are there in the pool? Is there maybe 10, 20? I don't know. But it's like you could, I guess, try to rule out, you could be one of X amount of addresses from that pool. So here we go, automate it, execute it on chain, enhance privacy. Very interesting. And we encourage all users to comply with applicable laws and regulations in their jurisdiction. please read that again and again, because I'm not here to get you in trouble. I'm just sharing some news of a new tool or a new, I don't know, application for Kaspa. Moon Carl says, Moon, we moon. Buy Kaspa, we buy Kaspa. This guy's got 1 million followers, 1.5 million followers, my bad, and he's been promoting it low key. You know, even though its ticker is CAS, not Kaspa. This guy is honestly a known scam artist from the time of Ethereum hype in 2021. But hey, all bad exposure is still good exposure. Is that how it goes? But I mean, that's a lot of views. Okay, so this could definitely bring a lot more attention to Kaspa, whether it's good or bad. Um, cool. I mean, I'm feeling we see this more and more as time goes on. More of these big accounts promoting Kaspa, like Altcoin Daily. How many followers? 1.9 million. Uh, this guy now copying Altcoin Daily, probably just farming the engagement, honestly. But hey, it's good to see. It means Kaspa's getting out there. So on that note, stay safe and peace out.